That's right, I have developed a new workflow which is going to revolutionize the way we create Argent Metal. And this is basically the Doom Instrument 2.0.
Let's put these effects back on. I think it makes it a bit more audible. Let's listen to what that does to it. What the heck? Why does that work?
So how I came up with this is I was basically, just praying to the Omnissiah as you normally do, and I was basically told,
"Stop messing around and go do some real engineering. You do about this in aerospace, you idiot."
So I basically rejected that heresy and returned to some more meaningful tasks, such as messing around with my hairdryer. That's really, really good fun. So I was just sitting there like, this actually kind of sounds really cool. It'd be really good if I could get like a recording of this, And then it kind of just dawned on me. So to simplify down what that actually means in our case, I basically ended up buying this thing which is quite cheap called a telephone recording pickup coil. And it's basically just like a kind of like 3.5mm jack which you just plug into something. And basically like this thing, it can record electromagnetic frequencies and sounds and all these cool different things. And if you get something like a Tascam portable recorder and plug it into it, you can basically just go around and hunt for these sounds as well, which is really, really fun. I actually really recommend this for sound design because it gives you some really, really good results.
You hear that? Yeah. Okay. Right, so we get this. It's kind of like a little knocking sound. And that's just by grabbing that little bit from the EMF recording. That's quite interesting. Let's just listen to the sample. And that's ran into the array.
And basically, when we record these motors, or anything that spins that's electronic, so something from like a hairdryer.
So, that's just straight up sound effects.
Or a lawnmower, or a toothbrush, or a blender. If we record that, then what we get is an oscillation. And if you know anything about synthesizers, you know that the actual note we generate is called an oscillator for a reason. And basically, we can actually get a pitched note from this thing that's spinning and has an electromagnetic current going through it and also being magnetic too.
That's very similar. You'll notice that that's very, very similar. So what we've got going on there is something that we call unison. We can see that we've got a parameter here called unison, and that's basically, I play a saw wave and then I play another saw wave. Let's detune it a lot. So I played the one saw wave. This is two saw waves really detuned in unison. It's two things playing. So basically what we're achieving there by putting the two little kind of EMF sounds into this instrument, into the sampler, and then furthermore back into the Doom array kind of setup. Obviously it's a slightly edited Doom array, but still. We achieve a sort of unison. And that's very useful.
We can get this thing and we can generate an actual pitched tone from that, and then we can put that into our Doom array as our source of sine waves. And if you remember from the previous Doom array video, basically what we feed into the Doom array is sine waves and noise. So what we're doing here is the exact same thing, but the source we generate is different because we're actually recording it from real sources. So I think that's really, really cool.
Whoa. Wow. Oh man, it's this kind of stupid stuff that really makes me like making music, And then we get some really cool, like, again, it's just like the Doom array. All you have to do is edit the amplitude. It's kind of like an automation, like here. And what I'm doing is, like, if I was to grab my initial kind of patch, so we grab the initial phase patch for the Doom Array. Obviously, we have the mod wheel, which controls, as we can see down here, the volume of the noise. And then we have like all these other parameters, obviously. And then we edit the master output gain to basically drive the gain of the Doom Array and the sine wave going through that. But when we talk about, you know, we have one track doing the kind of more noise from the sampler, and then we have the one track doing the kind of like cool like EMF kind of sounds. Basically, if I just automate the gain of the noise, so the master output of the gain of the noise, that's the same as me doing the mod wheel on the phase plant preset, and I will make that phase plant preset available to people. And then we get a cool kind of rhythm out of it. Oh my gosh, I forgot I did this. Yes, so you can actually also make leads with these as well, and they sound pretty cool. So if we turn that up, we can get a...
Now, if you know anything about how the Doom music was actually created, especially on Doom Eternal, you know that Mick Gordon did actually use a lawnmower for the main synthesizer on Cultist Base. That's the main rhythm synth you actually hear in the choruses, which is very, very interesting. So I basically took that idea and threw it into this remix of a song I did called Desiderian by Clyde the Racket, which is a really cool band, by the way. You should go check them out. And basically I took that idea and then I did it myself with kind of like my own motors and my own like hairdryer, and basically then combine that into a very, very cool process, which we're going to see now.
Basically, you know, now we've got real tangible ammunition from, you know, it's just some random stuff we recorded, like literal freaking basses, like actual like EDM basses, actual like Cultist style sounding kind of basses going on, just like Mick Gordon did, to basically then create our own track. So let's get onto the actual track, the actual remix. And, you know, I basically just took those things I was doing in the sound design session and I added the appropriate parts to them. So let's listen to this intro. You know, just a nice fade in, kind of going into it. And just him. So yeah, that's really fun and cool.
So you may have noticed I included some videos of me kind of sitting there with my DAW actually kind of like speaking. This is actually some of the long form content which I do on my Patreon, so if you want to like actually go and check the full video out, like full and uncut, you know, go over to Patreon. It's quite cheap. The tier is, you know, I think the second lowest tier, and you can basically watch all the deep dives through as much as you want and really kind of like learn the process behind creating Argent Metal. So yeah, I've been Joff, and thank you so much for watching. I'll tell you what, I really like Dark Souls games, and Sergey here has literally done like such a good cover of the Dark Souls songs, and obviously it's his best performing one. The atmosphere is just amazing, and it's really kind of brought the orchestration as well, so go give this a listen. It's really, really cool.